But I was her baby. I was Kathy and Charlie's baby. And, she will still say that to this day. Like, you were mine. And in her, I was hers in her eyes. But in my little body, I was also somebody else's.
The grief is fundamental. I swear I could feel the sadness of the loss in every cell of my body, every day of my life. But if I go hunting for the source in my memory, there's nothing. There's just darkness.
Biggest thing is the grief, and feeling the sadness.
I remember when I did find my birth mother, and my mother's first response was, "We don't know what we could have done to have failed you like this." Okay, I immediately was back in the role of having to preserve how they were feeling about all of it.
This idea of loss and, these people who you were not supposed to lose at the very beginning of your life, you did. And I clearly have something that's inside that has carried with me all this time. So it's hard. It's hard to master how to be okay with that.
Yeah.
I don't know if you master it. I think you just learn to live, learn to continue to live like with it. I always say to my people, like, what's the first thing that happened to you? And they're like, adopted or something. And I was like, no, you survived. Like, that's not a little thing. It's not a little thing to be a 1 month old, not having people to, love on you and hug you and tell you you're going to be safe and loved forever.
To me, fantasy and adoption are intrinsically linked. Just look at most mythologies, fairy tales, even horror stories. We're never surprised to see a child with no parents at the heart of a story. Think of Harry Potter, think of Cinderella, think of Moses. The world unconsciously understands what it means to lose your family, and as a result, they project us into their myths and stories. They use this orphan as the origin of great heroes, terrible monsters, parables. Adoptees inspire the extreme because the world unconsciously, whether they will admit it or not, understands that the extreme exists inside of us and they're afraid of it. People, well-intentioned sometimes, love to treat adoptees like our lives are a winning lottery ticket just by virtue of the fact that we were adopted. The framing is typically that what happened to us, our relinquishment and adoption, makes us special. You were chosen, people say. You must feel so lucky. I've heard that so many times. It's just the strange relative of the oldest foundling stories, a twisted modern version of the mythical baby hidden in the reeds. But of course, I'm not special. I'm just a person. And the pain is extreme. That part is true, but I have no special talent or ability because of it. I just have pain.
I'm like, here's the story. You got to hear this. And everyone's crying, blah, blah. My father, stoic Italian, red-faced, literally shaking, trying to hold back the tears. He's like, Jack, all that stuff you just told us, we already knew that. And I'm like, you didn't know any of that. I just told you that. I didn't even tell him anything about race, didn't tell him anything about who these people were, blah, blah. I just said that I found them, And he goes, 5 people went to their graves with that secret, that my father was black. And he's like, yeah. So then it turns out that everybody in the family knew. And I thought, I'm bringing this secret to them that these nuns had been lying all along. And now I'm like, so it's just like, I swear, like my brain, once again, same thing back when I read that book, my brain just glitched. It just went, like a big cog, just jumped the track and was spinning around in there, just wreaking havoc, and the and Papa, because he was like my biggest ally. He was like my best friend. He was, the perfect patriarch. I thought we were like tight, and it's just like, it bothered me, everyone else, but it's like, and Papa?
Yeah.
Like, Papa was in on this too?
And you can't even ask him.
Right. Like I said, I start remembering all this stuff from my childhood, and then I'm going through all these memories of, going to my grandparents, being in the backyard. And I said, now instead of Jack getting out of the car and running down the stairs, little Larry was the boy. So it kind of actually did, I'm getting a little damn dust in this place. But you know what I mean? It was like once the lie was out of place, I was just like, I could finally see me. You know, just like, you know, I see a very light-skinned black boy was running down the stairs. He was sitting in his chair. You know, then I started going through, like, what was the conversation going on? What were people thinking at the time? You know, I heard thoughts developing. See, he doesn't really even look black. And I heard voices whispering behind windows. See, no one can tell. You know, so it leaves open all these like mysteries of how much of my upbringing was hidden, how much of it was kept and protecting me from what? From me, from them, from who? I'm like, here.